Alright.
All right. Here we go. Episode 2, TRIX podcast. Last episode we had Stingray over here. Ton of support. Thank you everybody for watching. This time we have all the way from EU, Ephi. What's going on, man? Welcome.
Hey. Good to be here.
Mm-hmm. So, same host usual, same week here. We got other person, Cam, top right. We don't know about him. Anyway, moving on. Alright. So, we're gonna jump into it. This episode's not gonna be, as compact as before. We can blame like two certain people playing this thing. We're not gonna drop names, but I digress. Yeah. Alright, so Ephi.
What's up?
Starting off, everybody knows you, right now, the orb player, but more so like, the history back then being that staple Nick summer skin home team Diana. Or Diana.
Yeah.
I said Diana. I said Diana. The stuck home team Knicks. I thought I could roll that off its tongue. So,
Dude.
Close.
they're kind of decent. I don't know, but give us some background though. Even before, BCX 17, that Knicks coming through, everybody just going wow globally. Let's talk about you yourself playing in your own region online. Everybody, 2016 and 2017. How was that like? How were you in the podium of the EU scene?
That's a good question. Like the scene then, and when we talk about like the space, is so unrecognizable from what we see now. Like Brawlhalla hosted tournaments every like couple of months, huge prize pools. We didn't have that then. It was community tournaments. It was you win a CC for first place, and like all the top players were really close to each other, and it was such a different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It was so different. It felt like we were doing something small and something niche, and then it just in like pretty like around when I quit, it just started to explode, and that was kind of wild. So it felt like just playing a game back then. Doesn't feel like that so much now.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like everyone is thinking about it as an esport.
Yeah. I definitely think
That's
like
a big difference.
2018, 2019 it became the shift from like a community to okay, BMG's looking into Ubisoft. Oh, they're looking into have like a 6-digit scene like yearly, like globally, all these regions. Like it's actually becoming less of this small community and more of like this global scene.
Yeah, and
like,
it's getting noticed. I mean, look at that LTC viewership, man.
Yeah, like
35K.
35K, 40K. That's insane.
I'll be lying if I said that isn't like attractive as to like why you might want to come back to the game.
For real.
Yeah. Back then, it was like 100 viewers was big.
Yeah.
It's big news.
I'm just sitting here happy to watch it grow, man. Like, I really want this community to just explode even bigger than it is now. Still, like, mobile coming out, being officially released on the 6th. Like 3 more days, man.
August.
Yeah. It's on every platform.
People are streaming mobile. Mobile, apparently, if you plug a controller into it, apparently it's like the best way to play the game.
Yeah.
Least input delay, everything.
There's like this one streamer. I forgot his name. It was like something. Was that who it is?
Phone Cats, I think it is.
Yeah, Phone Cats. Literally, it was just him streaming Brawlhalla. He had like tons and tons of viewers, and it's like it looks so insane. I think a lot of people are gonna be interested in it.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. Like, if you think about mobile games, like obviously you got the Candy Crush stuff, but then it moves up. You got Clash Royale. Nothing really. There's no like you have Fantasy Strike, but that's not got player base compared to Brawlhalla. Like fighting game on mobile, it's a thing in a couple of days. It's a thing. That's crazy. I think it's gonna blow up.
For sure.
It's gonna go big, yeah.
They're like, come BCX 2022, we're all just gonna be thinking about like the one person who wins 1v1 with a Samsung S12 or something. That's gonna be legendary.
The 60 hertz phone, dude.
Yep. Not even 60, like 240. Freaking that era. Oh my god.
Someone's gonna pull up with the phone that's better than my monitor. I don't even know how to react to that.
Yeah. Alright, so 2016, 2017, it's like this small community that slowly builds up. You're doing your own thing. And then after that, I think you took a break after that for like a couple of years, I want to say, a year or two.
Yeah, about 2 years, yeah.
Not that, like, a lot of people don't talk about it, but you were into Dragon Ball Fighter Z, I want to say, right? During that time, like, what was that about? Because, like, I think that got majorly unnoticed.
Unnoticed, you say?
Yeah, like unnoticed to most of the people, because like people like knew that you were taking a break from the scene, but not exactly like what you were doing. And I noticed like you would be playing DBFZ on stream and all that, and I was like, what caused that shift? Besides,
so
things
like I'm like I don't say OG because this obviously goes back like 40 years, but like the thing I love is fighting games, just all fighting games.
Mhm.
I like Dragon Ball, I like Guilty Gear, I like Street Fighter, and Brawl for me is like only one corner of that competitive space. And it was really nice to like use Brawl as an excuse to travel, go to an event like Combo Breaker, and then be in that. Like it gave me like access to that world for real, like going to LAN events in the US where the scene really is. And my heart is honestly just with like the FGC, the fighting game community.
Okay.
And a part of what I want to do in Brawlhalla is bring more people over there. Just to show people like, okay, you play Brawlhalla, you've got like this one image of what fighting games are. I wanna see if you can see that there's a lot more to this. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, and I think there's just a lot of joy to be had and like shared across all these games. So yeah, I couldn't play Dragon Ball. Like it's not like I switched to go pro in DBFC.
Right.
The game was like super hype behind, like a load of hype behind it, and it's just really fun. And that kind of like more traditional. I'll say more traditional than Brawlhalla style of game is, in some ways is more compelling for me. I'm not gonna. I've told myself I'm not gonna talk bad about the game today, but I've got my quarrels with it. But it was a nice break. I'll put it that way. It was a really good break. I couldn't invest the time to be pro, so I just thought, let's play what's most fun for me.
Right. I mean, granted, day one Android 16, that did not make me want to stick around for that long. Like literally command grabs and everything left and right.
Yeah, he had some meta problems.
I'm trying to go back to release, so that was.
Oh no!
I bought the game. I want to play the game too.
Yeah,
counterplay.
How about like
the next one coming up is Guilty Gear.
Oh
2021,
man,
that's coming out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Guilty Gear, I'm gonna be real. Guilty Gear looks like the most complex 4D chess thing to me, and like I'm saying that as a person who doesn't look at a lot of traditional fighters in the first place, which a lot of people can say about other titles if they're not really too into it. But it looks fun though. I've been trying to dip my toes and stuff like that.
I'd recommend it, man.
Yeah, I know, definitely.
Yeah. I do. It does kind of pain me that a lot of the Brawlhalla player base, even the competitive people, Brawlhalla's like their first game or one of their first games, or they come from like a non-fighting game background, and there's like a whole world of people who've like studied these games. There's loads of content of stuff that's applicable to learning Brawlhalla, but there's just such a big divide between them, and I think that like always be the case, but it's definitely worth exploring other games in the genre. You can learn a lot.
That's true. Like you learn all this stuff in Brawlhalla, like neutral pressure, etc., etc. Maybe like on purpose and maybe just not. And that could be applied in so many other games, and people just don't, try to strive not strive away, but expand their sight. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes you a better player overall. For sure.
I mean, I can kind of understand it because I mean, regular traditional fighting games can be a little more intimidating than just the simple layout of Brawlhalla due to the more controls, and then there are definitely more aspects that you have to look at. So I can see why they wouldn't want to stray away as much, but it definitely will help you a lot because
for sure, sure. Like biggest thing, Brawlhalla is free to play any controller.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
They pop open a GameCube controller. Like, there's like this one NA player, top 10, I think at the time. He wasn't like placing to me, but he was like top 10 in the leaderboards or whatever. He played with like an 800 by 800 pixel TV. It's like one of those 1900 TVs with a GameCube controller. He literally couldn't see like part of the stage at all. And he like went top 10 with that. And then obviously, he did his own thing after that. He didn't want to like compete. And so, but people can play this game on. People can play on the toaster. Surprising.
Man, I'm trying to play with some slices of bread. I'm trying to.
Okay. Just plug up a potato into a TV. We're rolling.
Hey, bro. I'm saying is when I pull up and I win Summers, I don't know what's that. Summers next year. Yes.
I was gonna say.
Come on, the training arc, bro. The bread.
Forget the potato time machine.
I'm going to make my own loaf of bread and use handmade slices of bread.
Oh my god.
That's a nice controller.
Let's go.
Do you butter it or not?
I mean, gotta butter the bread when
What's
you make it. I'm
optimal?
not buttering it after though. That's gonna be a little weird.
Your hands are getting messy.
Yeah, it's gonna mess with my stamina after a while. My hands are just gonna be sliding across the desk. Like, man.
Oh my god.
All right. So.
All right, Ben. So after your break, what would you say is your big reason for coming back to Brawlhalla? Like, I know personally, when I take breaks, I'm kind of like, do I want to go back and play Brawl? Like, I'm just like,
Yeah, yeah. So I think okay, I'll go abroad on this one. Like, I think a lot of people got to know me as a player from BCX 2017, from the Knicks, from the Summer Skin, like the iconic stuff, like that you mentioned, right? I think a lot of people think of me as that, but what they don't know is like that was right before I quit. I quit basically after that tournament, and all the way through Brawlhalla, like my time at Brawlhalla, I was struggling with my mental health. So I had like just basically I was in the process of like dropping out of university. I was not feeling good about anything, and going to compete was like kind of something that was keeping me going. So I had like a really like deep personal relationship with it, but at the same time, like fighting off all your demons, going to tournaments, being like, dude, do I even want to like turn up? I don't feel good. I just feel really bad, man. Um, Having that as like a shadow over my competitive play was was like I had to. It meant that I had to step away. I had to deal with that, and then I want to come back, and I have like I still have all the thoughts about Brawlhalla in my head. Like even if I hadn't played, like a year and a half after having not played, I'm still thinking about it sometimes.
Right.
So it's just I had that feeling of being unfinished, and I wanted to see like, all right, my mental health's a bit better. I've got a bit more like stability. What can I do if I come back? And I knew it would be harder as well because everyone's gotten
yeah.
better. The scene's gotten bigger. Everyone's gotten so much better, and it's great to see. It's fun to play. It makes it more fun. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a lot of. You remember Pugsy? He made this tweet longer. I want to say like a month or so ago. It was very recent. And he was mainly talking about how like he felt this huge pressure on him. Winning winter championships into going into CEO. I want to say CEO Dreamland Online. Of like, okay, I need to keep this standard or something, or I need to keep this streak going on right now. I can't let myself go down like that. That pressure, I can't imagine how much it like weighs down on a ton of people who just so happen to play super high. So,
Yo, can we curse on this, or is this a family show?
this is not a family show. Go crazy. Oh my.
Okay.
Shoot.
I want people to get some perspective on that because something like I read that tweet longer and I hope Bugsy's feeling better now. But like some of the like a lot of us are quite young. Like I'm one of the oldest people in the community at 25, but a lot of people are 14 to 16, 18 years old. And when you go through the pressure of you travel to this event, you invest a lot of money, the chances of you winning could change the next year of your life if you win enough money, and like the amount of pressure you actually like young people are just going to leverage on themselves to succeed is like unknown. People outside the community looking in, they would think that if you're just playing a game, but no, when you're really trying to win at that level, you can be really hard on yourself. You can put yourself through a lot of like pain to try and win, and you just got to be so careful, man. You got to be so careful.
For sure. You can fall
it's
down
cool
like
to want to win, Go.
Yeah. Sorry. You can no, that's fine. You can like people fall down this a steep hole potentially. Like depending on how they handle the situation, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And I think people. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think people who like want to improve themselves in general, like they have some kind of like I don't say like dark past, but they have something to prove.
Yeah.
They feel like they have something to prove. They're drawn to that competitive atmosphere, and it's so accessible. You have a keyboard already. You just start playing, and then you realize, hang on, I'm gold. I want to be plat, and then it just goes and goes and goes. Suddenly, you're a top player, and now it's for money. So it's just crazy how it accelerates.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like a lot of people also like kind of get hard stuck in a way though. Like they'll play, I don't know, maybe 800 hours, 1,000 hours, 2,000 hours, and they'll be stuck in like this same plateau of being in gold or platinum, and they're like, "What's going on? I'm hearing from X person that they're getting diamond in 100 hours, or this person got pro within like 3, 4, 5 months or something." It's
so interesting, isn't it, that can happen?
Yeah.
I don't have like an answer for like why that happens perfectly, but I think a lot of people approach fighting games and Brawlhalla as if it's like linear improvement. Imagine like you're weightlifting. You just lift a heavier weight each time and your muscles get bigger and that's your improvement. But it doesn't seem to work like that. You need to like reach some new level of understanding to get past where you are.
Exactly.
Honestly, off of that, I feel like everyone just has like their own time where they rise and fall. because like for me, for a good bit, when I first started playing this game, first season I hit gold. I was like, oh cool. Next season, my plan was hit plat. I hit plat, and I was like, all right. Next season I want to hit diamond, and I put that expectation on myself, and I was just like, this is not going as I planned. And it was for like a long, and then after that, I took like a 3-season break. I just didn't do anything. I was like, experimental warrior. And then like 2 or 3 seasons ago, I finally just like threw myself in the rank. I was like, all right, you know what? Enough procrastinating. I said I can, and so now I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Sure enough, boom, diamond, whatever. Now I'm just like, I'm going through that same like 2 or 3 season run where I'm just like, do I really want to play ranked again? Like,
yeah.
Like I'm really just an experimental and customs warrior, man.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
It's the
like,
plus
16. Rise and fall.
Is the plus 16 worth fighting the 5-minute Lucian just standing on the wall? That's a real question.
I'm saying, man. The brain numbing climb is worth it.
I think climbing in Brawlhalla is mentally more draining than most other games. I think it makes you angrier.
It does. It does. Honestly, having a background of playing like League of Legends and then coming to Brawlhalla does kind of help a little bit, because like, I don't know, because like playing in League, it's like, okay, if someone on your team does something bad, you can't really fix that with your own actions for like the most part, depending on what they do. But it's like for Brawlhalla, you have no one else to blame but yourself, really.
For sure.
So it's kind of just like.
Yeah, but then you can blame the game, you know?
That too. Yeah, alright, yeah. I mean, besides, weapon throws, etc., like, you can't just say, oh, this thing is 40-60, this is a Pokemon game, therefore you lose, I win. Like, you can't just do that.
That's true.
Yeah. I was thinking about this earlier today, actually, and I had a thought, and it was about like making excuses, right? It's really common. If people know the like, Smash community, like the idea of like, no, Johns, don't make excuses. Right. It's not worth it. And I thought about it a little bit, and I just thought, there's always an excuse. There's always like, even if it sounds like perfect logic, it sounds like an excuse when you say, like, well, he just hit me on this jump. Like the mentioning thing, there's always an excuse you can give, and that's like the reason why it's not worth making excuses. Like, yes, there's always reasons, but like, are you looking at those reasons in order to improve, or like, why are you venting them? Are you just angry?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, definitely something that I always ask, like a ton of people who are like complaining in general whenever they're trying to play against a certain matchup. It's like, do you think you're mad about it because it's bad for the game, or it's bad that you're losing against it? If that makes any sense. Yeah. Like I said, unless we're talking about weapon throws, I think it's a different creature, different breed. Okay, I'm gonna pause here for like 2 seconds. I don't know if OBS was recording. Yes, it was. Okay, I'm the most prepared person, I promise you. Alright.
Bruh.
Hey, I had like no clue at all.
All of this was
I'm like this when I stream as well. I just like the most low production thing ever.
It's okay.
I feel that.
I was streaming earlier today, and I look, and I was like, "Oh, podcast is an hour. Let's go."
No, I was driving. I look at you stream. I was driving. I look at you streaming. I'm like, I could just tell him, but I'm just gonna hope he remembers, please.
No, I was just like peeping Discord between matches, and I was like, "Huh."
Yeah. All right, so it's gonna that front. All right, let's move on. So we have all that insight on what you were before, what was in the middle section, and what is now. Let's talk about what are the topics that you actually do talk about a lot on Twitter, and that's mainly with ADHD and people handling that as they're playing competitive games, Brawlhalla or just fighting games in general, right?
Yeah.
So how do you think that such things like ADHD can affect a competitive player in general? Mental, learning the game, etc., etc.
Yeah, I got 2 thoughts on that. I think one, it definitely changes how you play, and there's like we can get into that. It's kind of difficult because you feel quite isolated sometimes. You look at how other people play, and it doesn't resonate with you. And then sometimes you like I've straight up I've seen like a player who plays in a way that I completely recognize, and I've been like, you have ADD, and they're like, yep. It's crazy, but I think it's part. Honestly, I think it's part of the beauty of the competition that everyone brings their play to the top level. You bring it to the stage, to the tournament, and then you compete against each other, and you see whose brain is better at the game. And obviously there's like you have good days, you have bad days. There's like kind of like I don't want to say luck, but you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's always been one of my favorite things about fighting games is you have people with different types of brains. You got people from different cultures, people with different beliefs and different values coming together. You all have the same like system that you're in, but the way you express yourself through that in tournament is creates like these beautiful moments. Like yeah, you see like Pakistan take over Tekken 7. That kind of thing is just creates these such an interesting like it's like a battleground for people's thoughts and just their minds.
Yeah.
So in that from that perspective, I love the idea of playing the game with some kind of like ADD, autism, that kind of thing. But like as a person like trying to learn, it definitely makes some things difficult, especially Brawlhalla, because as you said before, right, it can be pretty slow paced sometimes. Something about Brawlhalla, it's not like always a continuous flow. If your opponent says, "All right, I'm going to stall out the game for like 30 seconds," they kind of can.
Yeah.
You got to eat that up, and it's things like that make it really hard, and it pushes you to be one of those players who just always wants to approach, and like make the game faster, super impatient, and it's always a balance between like, yes, that's me, that's how my brain's going to work. I'm going to find a way of doing that, and then also understanding the game's not going to let me at this point. At some point you're just making such low like value plays that you're really throwing at some point. So you got to try and strike a balance, but you shouldn't. I think people fall into a trap when they let themselves like see a top player and say that's how I have to play. Like no, you're playing the same game, but you're a completely different brain.
Yeah.
And be open up to that. Yeah.
For sure. You probably seen this too, but like a lot of people talk about how they'll see this one clip from like a top player, just for example's sake. You see Sandstorm get a side, do a 0 to death against, I don't know, it's a Drew BCX 2018. I don't know why that's specific. Anyway. Like you see him do that.
I on my stream.
You see him do that. And then they'll go, oh, I want to replicate this 0 to death. Let me go on the game right now and just try that. And they'll play this one specific style of either just stay on the side or on the wall, just try to, pick off some dodges and all that. The moment that doesn't work, it's gonna start frustrating them. They're like, oh, why isn't this strategy working? I thought it'd be efficient enough.
Yep. Yeah. Clip hunters. Those clip hunting Mordexes. There's thousands of them. Yeah, it's like it's tricky because like you take this like preconceived idea of what you want to happen, and you try it, and it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. It doesn't match up with the reality of the game you're playing, and it goes back to that idea like you have to play your game, your brain. You aren't Sandstorm. People dodge against Sandstorm the way they do because he's Sandstorm, and the exact things he does. Unless you replicate him one for one, all that does is get you like if you were to like actually do that, which is not really possible or feasible, you would still not be number one. You'd be like joint number 2. So at some point you can't copy. You need to be true to yourself and like develop your own skills in the order that you want to develop them. Sometimes like occasionally people like, oh, you never learn to edgeguard. At some point you're going to have to learn to do that, but otherwise you can really listen to yourself and follow through on what you want to learn. First of all,
for sure. I mean, that being said, then there's like the argument of, okay, I need a montage. Let me just go and experimental. Get this site there. All right, 8 seconds, we're done. But
yeah,
that's different.
Yeah, that's not the kind of brawl I play. Nowadays I turn on the game. It's either to stream or to play competitively. I just don't play casually anymore. So I'm in a different world from KO.
Oh.
Man.
That was not I didn't mean that.
I'm slowly but steadily climbing the mountain, man. I don't know what you want from me. Oh man, pain.
Also, I do want to mention KO literally puts in the Google Drive mid-speech, I want to guzzle glizzies.
See, that wasn't me.
That was exactly you. You're typing that right now.
I have Discord up right now.
All right.
Suspicious. Confessions of a Guilty Mind.
Okay.
So...
Who put you on? Hello?
Bruh. Alright. Anyways. So, when do you think playing a game despite having success outweighs the mental toll it could have on your life?
Wait, what could you say? Like, could you rephrase that? I don't know what you mean.
Sure. Like playing like let's say you're playing Brawlhalla, but you're like having mad success doing it. At what point does that outweigh your the mental toll that it could have on you in your life, like your mental state?
I think that's like always a question you have to ask, right? How can you really know, dude? If I knew like the right decisions to make in my life at any given time, life would be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people will draw the line at, are you having fun?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd do that, man. That's true. That's like a philosophy question.
For sure. Yeah, because like you have someone to where they're winning first place every single time, no matter what. And meanwhile, they're having like all this stuff that's going on that's just building up. Maybe they're not even having fun with the game or something. But it's just like, oh, this game gives me money, therefore I'm gonna play it because success.
I mean, to be real, if you're making enough money to make it a job, then treat it like a job. You wouldn't always feel like you'd want to do it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
if you can do that, then that's great. But yeah,
I hope like any competitor that ever goes into a game treating it like it's a job, I would not like that.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't. You need to have interest. You need to have inspiration, passion, to be able to like be creative enough to win at this kind of game.
At that point, I just like work at a drive-through instead of just, I don't know, sideline near axe 10 times, 10k, boom.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just boot up the game and play both so that I can feel anything.
You feel something playing both? That's
D-light, and light. I just want to feel anything, bro. I lock in the Isaiah pick.
Isaiah? Okay, well, that's also the thing. You're playing Isaiah. Hello?
Let's not talk about canon.
I sideline up the cannon and I just stare into the distance.
Good point.
Yep.
If it doesn't work once, try again.
It's exactly the same being on like the receiving end of that cannon sidelight.
Man.
You spot dodge and then your eyes just go glaze.
You just blink. You see the continue?
But
yeah.
Definitely for sure though, like having to treat like, the game as this sort of job, it's definitely off on. And like you said, different people are gonna have different outputs to whether or not it is taking a mental toll in the first place. It's really conclusive as to I want to see.
Yeah, I think people need to be aware of it because Brawlhalla especially can be taxing. Games last a long time. You have to stay focused for a long time. Like you get exhausted, you can burn out. You can burn out on anything, but like you got to be careful because with something so like addictive and easy to keep playing.
Yeah. It's one of those like it slowly builds on you over time until you're just like,
becomes a habit, right?
Yeah. Like I'll find myself like just playing through the game for like 3 or 4 hours at a time. Like I just won't even move out of my desk. I have like a water bottle. I'll just like go through that. I'm just like, after a while, I'm just like, do I even want to continue playing the game? At that point, I'm just autopiloting. Like at first, I was full of energy. I had like goals of what I wanted to learn, progress in, and that's like, after a while, I'm just sitting there.
I think it goes back to the ups and downs of improvement you talked about. Like if you've got to take a break to get that juice back, do it. It's the best thing that's going to work for you for sure. Yeah,
that's like my biggest thing, just like refreshing my mental.
Yeah, I think like taking in like outside content as well. Like if I sit with Brawlhalla and my mind just starts seeing the same images and the same thoughts keep going through my head over and over again. Sometimes like you go outside, you read a book. Halfway through the book, you like get better at the game somehow. It really works like that. It's crazy.
That just reminds me of this, like, of when I was a kid. I tried to play Guitar Hero when I was a kid, and I, like, sucked at it. 3 years later, of just, like, doing nothing, I just came back to the game, and I was just able to, like, 100% clear it. And I was like, I haven't touched this game in years. Like,
which Guitar Hero?
The one for the Wii, the best one.
Aerosmith?
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, Guitar. I think it was either, like, Guitar Hero Aerosmith or 3.
No,
I forgot
Legends
which one.
of Rock, bro. Come on.
Legends of who?
I hate you.
I don't know that. I know I have like
Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock.
That's what it. Oh my.
That's not Aerosmith, man.
No. It's
L.
That game was fun. All right. So, kind of speaking about burning out, like while you're playing, I think a lot of people have this in mind. Once they're at the tippity top, even like top 10, top 5, top 3, tournament mindset. Right, I think that's probably the most important thing you want to look into competing. You got your fundamentals down, you got somewhat of a game plan down. Everything in the end kind of relies on your mindset. Obviously, not every single player has the 100% same mindset, but do you think like people share common traits or habits that they have within their mindset?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's like approximate ranges of certain like elements you want in your head, and then things you just don't want at all. I'd say like whenever I talk about like analyzing the game and stuff, first question I get is like, do you think about this in game? It's like, no, not at all, not at all. If you're playing, you want to be like present minded, like 80-90%. You just want to be like empty minded and like looking at the screen so that you can see what's happening. And then nothing else. You don't want things in the way of that. When you start hearing thoughts, it like obscures like the way you see things on the screen. So you need to like be calm enough to have like quite a quiet mind. And then like on top of that, like a 10-20% of like right at the back of your mind, at the back, like a tiny voice in your head that tells you if you're doing something really catastrophically stupid, or if you like need to make a really small change, and then everything's going to be fine. Like sometimes like, oh dude, if you just jumped like one more time, he would be whiffing everything and you'd punish him over and over and over again. Like you have that voice there, but it's not something you're like trying to do. It just sits in the back of your head, and the rest of it's just present minded, calm, and like ready. That's the best thing you can do. In my opinion, it's going to be different for people, but I think that's pretty common along everyone.
Yeah, no, I see some people, they straight up like talk out loud what they want to do, like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't have jumped there this time. All right, I'm pretty he's gonna like sell it or something. Like they'll say it out loud as they're playing. Like it's
you see that like on stream or something.
On stream, like even whenever I'm at like a friend's house or something, and they're playing, I don't know, Tekken for example. Like one of my friends, he was playing Tekken, straight up just calling out what he wanted to do or what he was thinking or what he did wrong or right. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't know if like that's hindering on how they're playing or not, because I don't have the same way of learning and playing as this other person might. That makes sense.
I think it does, honestly. It's hard to come down and say like yes or no on any of these topics like this, but I think if you're talking out loud, like you don't need to be articulating that. You can hear that in your like inner voice, right?
Yeah.
Saying it out loud is like some social aspect, or it's venting because like you're like, I don't know, annoyed or something.
I do that occasionally where I'll like say out loud like what they're doing. So then for me, it's not so much like it distracts me. It's more so I'm vocalizing it out loud. So then I'm able to like store that information in my mind. It helps me digest it easier than just like trying to think about it in the back, because then I get distracted easier. Or if I just say it out loud, it helps me like digest it more, and I can just start.
It would help you memorize, like keep it in your mind, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'd say like one of the big things with mindset that's similar is like a lot of people in the lower ranks and then coming up towards like mid diamond, they don't realize how seriously top players will take the game and their thoughts. Like you develop like a mindfulness, and you can hear, like you start listening to your own thoughts, and it's sort of like seeing retrospectively what you were thinking about while you were playing. And trying to keep it all like perfectly in line, and like when you get distracted for some reason, analyzing like what happened. That kind of level of like seriousness where you try and put your whole being, like into the game, you try and be fully immersed, is something a lot of players like don't realize is actually happening at top level.
It's way less of you're not playing this character, you're playing an actual person. They're moving everything.
You both put yourself into the game so much, and then it becomes like a dance. Yeah.
All right, but yeah, no, I agree fully for sure. So yeah, mindset. All over sure people take it differently. Yeah, like you said, definitely in the top play, like everybody's trying to keep that quiet, that calm style, because one moment you could just be thinking through like a bunch of things, and then next thing you know, I don't know, the signature comes out, or maybe even something technically bad out of your control happens, and it frustrates you even more if you're not, keeping still on what you're doing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there's something really interesting about that. Like when you get frustrated, like a lot of people. So when I first started playing on stage, playing on tournament, I realized like you get way more nervous on stage. You have like the lights on you. You can hear the commentators, the crowds reacting to what you're doing. Even when you're like comboing someone, you hear them like starting to scream. You start flubbing, like you start messing stuff up. But what I found I used to do, and a lot of people do as well, is like you react to your own nervousness, and it makes you screw up.
Mm-hmm.
If you like know that you're going to be nervous and just accept it, you have a chance of holding on to like your good play. So like it's not like you have to stay calm. So you want to be like as calm as possible, and like feelings are gonna come in. You're gonna feel angry when you get hit in a stupid way, like a clash happens that's just really bullshit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna piss you off. But it's just okay to like feel that and not like run away from it or reject that feeling. And the more you can do that, the less like the feelings create like waves in your head that are gonna make you play worse.
Yeah, I remember I was playing. It was in CO19. I was doing like a one set. And there was like it wasn't even on main stage. It was like at like the regular stations, and we're having like this huge crowd. I didn't even notice that at all until like after game one. I turn around,
like right behind you, you know.
Yeah, I turn around. I'm like, yo, wait, what's going on? And then I just like we just continue. I'm like, okay, I hate this feeling. I hate this feeling in my stomach right now. But like at the same time, if I keep on thinking about it, then like what's gonna happen to it? If it's not gonna go away, I might as well just like keep it in there. And then yeah.
Do you guys know iBlack?
iBlack, yeah.
I don't.
So I had a match against him in 2017 Combo Breaker, and he had, I don't know if it was like his uncle or his cousin or his dad or something, like this older guy with him who was acting like a hype man and who was talking shit. He was standing behind my ear talking shit throughout the game, like, man, fuck him up, you can do this, yeah, fuck him up, look, he's scared, he's tired, you can get this, and just like constantly like yelling in my ear. And like, I never want to experience that again, man. That was horrendous.
It's so
so nearly lost. Yeah, you freak out. Your body just starts freaking out.
Yeah. And they had like no soundproof, not soundproof, but I'm trying to remember the noise cancellation headphones at that time. They were just like the regular Astro headphones.
Yeah.
At least like now they fixed that.
Stage, we had no headsets.
Yeah. This is either earbuds or nothing.
Yeah.
Bro, those earbuds come in clutch, man.
No, mine, they died mid-set, man. I don't know about that.
Imagine not having plug-in earbuds, bro.
Probably, I had to like contrast 2v1 a match just because one of my AirPods, I'm like, oh, let me change my music real quick. And I'm holding the A key and I just fall off stage. That's so bad.
You're throwing, dude. I guess now my question for you is, what song was that bad where you had to change it?
What was it? No, I still remember. It was autoplay. Was it a Cardi? Yeah, it was some Cardi B song. I had to switch it like ASAP.
Do you both listen to music while you play?
Yeah. I love listening to music.
It helps me calm my thoughts a lot.
I just like bopping to it. I don't know why. Whenever I have like momentum or something, not even pressure, but just momentum, pure momentum, where I'm just playing in neutral, you just hear like that song in your head, it just matches that tempo, and you go not crazy, but it just keeps you even in like more in focus.
There's definitely like a rhythm thing to it, isn't there?
Yeah.
I don't know. Music while playing Brawlhalla feels different, bro.
Nice. Well, it feels different. Then it's like, oh yeah, get Spotify Premium now, $9.99. What do you do?
Alright, we ain't plugged, bro. Stop that.
That's not even a plug. That's a pain. You're just trying to play, and then out of nowhere, Spotify ad comes through, like some State Farm or something. I don't know. That's a tragedy. All right, moving on.
So, Ephi, what are your thoughts on the current meta, and would you find it fun and or balanced?
Canon is broken.
Start
there. The sidelight stuff, like, dude, I played that weapon like 5 minutes, like, holy crap, like, wow.
Yeah.
It feels amazing,
man. It's like a side end light without a dead zone.
Dude, just
aside from that, I like the balance right now, kind of. I think it's alright. Aside from that, Katars are a bit weak. Wish they were stronger. And then everything else is cool. You know, the hard weapons are hard, but they're good. It's like guns. Scythe could be like a little bit stronger. I think like after the Scythe fixed force nerfs, some of the old nerfs that got like the neutral side like popping them up really high so that you can jump the end light afterwards. I'd like to see that kind of thing like go back now. Maybe make Scythe a bit more like just be more teeny bit more consistent.
Yeah, on ground, for sure.
Yeah, and then orb all the way, man.
I still think it's off. I think it's offstage like presence, so it's still like. Well, I can't say it's as great as before because near momentum killing, etc. But it's I think it's still there.
I agree. And I think like with the new weapons, or not all the new weapons, but with most of the new weapons, you have this sense of like in neutral, I can't use my dodge because if I do, suddenly the damage I might take goes from like 15 to death, or 50 damage. You just can't dodge in neutral, and Scythe still has that element about it where you can't play with dodge in neutral.
I cannot name enough nutters who just abuse that. Which, fair play. But yeah.
I don't know. It's like, it feels like out of dodge option unless you're playing like sword or something where you can just GC light, just cut off like a lot of their follow-up opportunities. Then I feel like just not dodging, going for like an option out of that, or just fast falling or jumping just works better and safer.
I've seen some recent answers from some players where they only ever dodge if they're also dodging into the ground, so you're always getting grounded dodge cooldown.
Oh yeah,
that gives you a little bit of window.
Grounded dodge cooldown messes me up because I don't know, my mind doesn't. I can't tell if it's like a grounded dodge or a spot dodge, so I'm just sitting there like, kind of gotta go 50-50 on whether or not they're gonna have to dodge, right?
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. I wish it was a bit cleaner.
Personally, I don't know. I don't like that directed dodge thing to where like always trying to dodge down close to the ground for that reset, because at some point it becomes a habit across like all of these weapons, even if it's the best dodge you can make towards the ground against a certain weapon. Like if I dodge away against cannon, at some point, in my opinion at least, it would become like a super bad habit to go for.
Honestly, dodging away versus cannon, I found, is like, especially if you still have stage behind you, is almost worse. Because then if they catch on to that, then you just basically put yourself at the ledge. Now you're closer to death than before.
You can, against the sidelight specifically, I'm going to drop the tech. If you dodge up and away and then jump immediately out of dodge, you can get away from most sidelight follow-ups. Even like the sidelight GC sidelight will miss. The only thing they can do is sidelight jump, like chase your dodge and then stare. And that only combos at white.
White, yeah.
That's the tech. There you go. So yeah, but against like Scythe that has like fewer damage hits that it needs to hit. Like there's many more gaps than like Cannon. If you dodge down against Cannon, it still gets sidelight Seer, which is like 2/3 of the combo. So yeah.
Something I was thinking about balancing too. I think the general pattern of it has been more focused on these weapons, which, I mean, to be fair, that's really good. I hope they continue doing that. But I think recently they haven't put as much attention towards characters. If I want to say, like, we're looking at like first 4 characters, like Scarlet, for example, right? People like Scarlet, people like Vrax, people like Diana. You know, like her bow signatures, all that, etc. And I feel like, to me at least, I feel like right now BMG is more like eccentric on these weapons right now rather than the characters themselves. Do you think that sort of like pattern should change, or dynamic of balance should change?
I think, well, it's tough to say. For a good like year to 2 years, they spent time like just updating SIGs, like 2 SIGs per patch they'd update, right? Make them a bit cleaner, get rid of, we call them 2016 hitboxes. And they've done it for like the majority of SIGs in the game. But at this point, I think their patch philosophy's definitely changed. They care less about placating top players. It really is like, get rid of the stuff that makes games, really look bad, really like affects player base numbers. And then like throw in stuff whenever we have the time. Like if people are really asking for something, or like it's pretty unanimous.
Right.
I think, like, do you mean like you don't want them to like add more weapons? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, I'm not saying like to add. I just mean like general balance on them, just purely balance. Yeah, and like their focus.
I think there is a lot of SIG disparity. Like some characters have Wushang Spear side SIG, and some characters don't.
Yeah.
Some characters have 0 side SIG.
Yeah. People can make the argument that like the characters can literally make or break a certain weapon combo. Like, I don't know, let's say Jiro, sword and scythe, really awesome combo. Yeah. And then you look at his SIG and stats and it's just like,
it's really painful to have, like, you've been waiting for a certain combination for ages. Like I was waiting for sword and scythe, and it comes out and it's just not what you wanted.
Yeah.
And it's gone. It's gone. Yeah, no, that can suck. That can really suck. But I don't know what they'd do about it, honestly, unless they add like morph as a main game mode.
Oh my god, Atrophius has been like the biggest advocator for that like the past few months. Shout out to him. Like, he made like this huge notepad talking about how morph would be like competitively viable and everything. Like how they would adjust and all that. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they did it similar to Overwatch, so where they have like both of the modes as like separate things. Like maybe have a competitive queue for how Brawl is right now. Maybe like a morph thing just as a test. I don't know. But like, I think a lot of people have a ton of interest towards morph being a competitive platform.
Yeah. I didn't get to try it unfortunately, but it looked really. I saw some really fun stuff on Twitter. People posting stuff. Taku really liked it. He told me about it. But I think in the meantime, I'll be really happy with graduating the current test features. Actually, the ledge features I think make a huge difference. I want to see those in. First of all,
I'm telling you, movement on platforms, I love that, especially with like ledge canceling and all that. Like doing input legend.
Feels like a platform fighter.
Yep, it feels like a platform fighter.
It's all fun and games until you try to go for a dare and then you DI and kill yourself.
Okay, yeah, that's pain. That's actually I feel that.
Yeah.
On top of that, I actually talked about this too for I think it was right after tourney servers got up, but I was thinking about if maybe BMG could do something to where let's say they have like a private client or something, right?
Yeah.
And then within that, a certain select amount of players, let's say if, like from different regions or whatever, would test out, different types of balances or patches or whatever. Because
like a beta server.
Like a beta server something. Yeah, something like that.
Big leaks, boys. This used to exist.
Right. I would assume so. I would assume so.
Yeah. When the game was much smaller, like we had a Slack with the developers, and they had like a PBE, and we would discuss and test changes. Like before they came out, and we would try stuff out. Basically, exactly what you said. Not to the extreme of like testing out morph, but it was a private thing as well. I mean, they could make it like a more open PBE, but I don't know if they ever want to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, definitely not to mention like patches in general are super hard for them to do now because they got to go through licensing with different platforms. That takes so much time. It's crazy. I on paper though, it sounds like something that would be really, really, really fun to do. Not just fun, but like also directly impactful because you're getting, first-hand information from the people who look at this game the most analytical. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I think BNG got quite tired of listening to us though. A lot of us are very picky. We like things a specific way. Everyone's like got really good arguments, but they've got completely different opinions.
Yep.
So it becomes a bit of a shout fest. It literally was just like you think like the pro players are going to be better than that, but no, it was the Forge. Like,
oh my god,
it was the Forge.
Oh, bless the Forge. The Forge today.
The party.
Forge today, just a different breed.
I've not been in there in years, and I don't want to.
It's a dust zone. It's a whole ghost style. It's a dust zone over there. Oh my god.
It was the same when it was pro players doing it. So. You know what though?
Yeah, go ahead.
I kind of agree. Like, I think there is a bit of a sense of the game getting a bit like bloated right now, and like not enough to, like, new stuff comes out, new weapons, new legends, like new balance changes for weapons, but not for SIGs comes out. It would be around that time. Like, Brawlhalla's kind of in its life cycle where League of Legends was when it started remaking champions.
Yeah.
You could definitely start touching up some stuff, adding cool mechanics here and there, and then also taking that another look at core mechanics, because how long has it been since we had Dash added?
Well, when I said like
things you could tweak.
I know once double gravity cancel was unearthed, people were doing that a lot, and then they added it as a test feature, and then it just never made it past that stage.
Yeah.
Same with the like dash to deflect weapon throws.
Yeah.
I actually like that mechanic.
Yeah, that one isn't mine as much.
I'm praying we're going to come up with some like anti-weapon throw tech soon.
Please.
I think it will be sooner rather than later.
Yeah, like, I do not care how much stage control or whatever I need to give up for that thing. Just, like, make it something, please.
Sometimes you want to recover, and then you just see the lance weapon throw down.
Yep. Just before you know it, weapon throw GC down sick, you're done.
Yeah. It really breaks the competitive meta in some nasty ways.
Yeah. Alright, wrapping things up, I think the big question that a ton of people have on their minds, maybe not like blaring out, but just kind of subconsciously, is the direction of how this scene is going to be. Are the players that we're looking at, the plays that we're looking at right now, going to be the peak of what Brawlhalla right now can offer, Or do you think like the ceiling still has so much that it could expand upon?
I think that's a great question, man. I think most of the people who are pro now, the names who've been around for at least like 2 years, like I'd say like Sandstorm included, like around Sandstorm time now, most of those people are going to stay at the top. And then I think when mobile opens up, 3 days time, like you're going to start seeing more PS4 mobile players shoot up, and it's going to like bloat to the point where like top 64 is really hard to get.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, top 32 is gatekeeping people. I lost, so like my first tournament back at the game, I got 33rd at LTC 1v1.
Yeah.
And I was playing good players, like good players. I expect it's not what I expected, but I think it's going to get like about twice as hard. But the meta, like Dash, people have started to pick up on like what Dash is and what Dash means on a competitive level.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like you know heavy weapons meta. People talk about heavy weapons, but everyone playing axe and hammer.
Yeah.
That is almost always like a reflection of a new meta being formed. So when people realize they have new options, to keep it simple, to try and get those down pat, they play heavier weapons that get value off of like the initial hit, because it's simple, it's easy. You just focus on the new stuff. You don't have to worry about doing complicated dodge reads and stuff like that.
Right. They're just like, if I can win trades doing this without, looking too much into it and it works, then it works.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think there's a lot of room in the next 6 months to a year for the game to grow back into that dodge read heavy game where everyone kind of knows how the neutral game works, plays out now, because everyone's good at Dash, and instead of it just being like a fuckfest, it's going to pick up a bit more structure, and like you'll start seeing more like Sandstorm 0 to death. If you look at pro play now, like there's very few 0 to deaths at the moment in the last couple of tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's mostly like 3-hit strings, 4-hit strings, because people's defense has gotten so much better as well.
It has, like, defense is so tightly written now. Defense, speed to an extent. Dexterity, we don't know what that is. Strength, even, like, if you want to focus on,
people use dexterity?
I
thought dexterity was a myth, bro.
Oh, right, yeah, you're right.
I like Dex. I don't like Boomy's opinion on it.
Oh, no. It doesn't feel like it does anything for me. Like,
I find like, go on.
I just run around with speed, bro. I like speed and I like defense. Those are my two staples.
Pretty strong right now, to be honest.
Yeah, man. I love the Sidra pick, man. Her stat line is just so good.
I think definitely like high dex characters, like Cassidy, Koji, those type of people who can extrapolate off it the most. Dex becomes so powerful with that.
Yeah, yes, I agree. Like I think it's like there's a certain dex thresholds that make a lot of difference. Like if you play 7 dex guns, it just feels like guns, but like a tiny bit faster. It doesn't make a difference. But when you jump to 8 dex, suddenly you can use like Ser in a different way that you couldn't. So like Vrax's guns, Cassidy's guns are different from everyone else's guns in how they can play. And the same's true for Orb. Like people don't know this about Dusk. I've been maining Dusk lately. Having 7 dex on Orb actually opens up like you can spam on this character.
Yeah.
You can't with Fate.
There's like something like I would do all the time with Dust is like just daring to Saring and neutral, like on Dust, that thing is free.
It's so free. It's crazy free. Yeah.
It's bait, man. It's all bait.
It's all bait until it just resets. It's like, what do we do?
I feel the time to make another meme. Twitter coming soon. Let's go.
Don't follow his Twitter, please.
Bro, my Twitter is phenomenal.
Alright, I think with that, that's going to be the end of the episode. Ephi, if you have any socials that you want to link, now's the time. Just say what.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't really care about Twitter, but I'm going to stream on Wednesday. So over the last 2 weeks and ongoing, I've been streaming like Brawlhalla lessons, like on fundamentals and different topics and stuff. So we did like neutral game, we did some offense. And then this Wednesday, I'm going to do another one on spacing. So if you're interested in that, tune into the stream on Wednesday, like 6 p.m. GMT. That's gonna be good.
Yes, sir.
That's clean. That's clean.
You can find this man on twitch.tv/FEBL. Let's go.
Thank you very much.
All right, all the Twitters will be linked on screen in the description. All that. If they're coming through, Ephi, this is TRIX Podcast episode 2. See you all next time.
Yes, sir.